we are talking about medieval period and the development of English. Let's start in the kitchen. The peasants who raise the animal use English words because they are considered, not considered, but they were lower class. Okay, day and night they work for the nobility. So the peasant, they spoke English words like cow, pig, sheep, and chicken. So, but the nobles who sat at the dining table and ate those animals use French words for the meat. For example, beef, there's a French word from French word that is boeuf, if I'm not wrong. Anybody is listening from France can correct me. Similarly, they use the word pork instead of pig, right? From French word that is pork. And mutton, that is from French word mountain. And similarly, poultry, that is from French words that is poulet. So you can see that the lower class, the peasants, right, who were growing foods and who were growing animal, who were raising animals, they use word cow, pig, sheep, chicken. While the aristocratic class, the nobility who were eating the meat of these animals, they were using beef for what? From the French word, okay? And because that is cow, and here they use beef. And then they use pig and pork. They use sheep and they use mutton, right? And there is chicken and they use poultry, right? So the beef, you see that is taken from the cow, and pork is taken from the pig, and mutton is taken from the sheep, and poultry taken from the chicken. So these are the animal, and the meat of these animal was used by the nobles on the table, giving these names which had origin in French language, right? It's very interesting. Now comment. So even today we have two sets of words. One for the living animal, right? As here we can see living animal, cow, pig, sheep, chicken. And then we take meat, so we use these names: beef, pork, mutton, and poultry. So one of the living animal, for example, English origin, and one for the cooked food, that is French origin, right? Because these nobles, they ate the meat of these animals. So this division comes directly from the social structure after the conquest. So after the Norman conquered the England, so they became the ruler. So they became the ruler, so they use French words. And the peasants who were living there, mostly they were Anglo-Saxon, they use Old English words. And gradually we can see the amalgamation of French and English words, and which forms like medieval English, Middle English. Now example number 2, that who is in charge. Now the Norman ruled, so words related to law, government and nobility are mostly from French because they are ruling class. They were ruling England. So you can see that the words which were used in law, right, lawmaking, and government, official, and nobility, so are mostly from French because they were aristocratic class, ruling class. So like we have words court, judge, jury, government, noble, duke, and parliament. So these all words are taken from where, or they had a French origin, right? Because belonging to court, law, judge, law, jury, law, government, nobles, duke, and we can see parliament. So these words had French origin. While most everyday down to earth things state English of the lower class peasant people. So most of the people, they still were using English language, like house on the earth, bread, okay, lower class, field because they were working in the field, peasant, work, they were working there, and wife, they were having wives, and child, they were having children. It doesn't mean that they did not have children, they did not have wife, but the names of this wife and children were not given there. They belong to English language. So this shows that how power shaped language. Still, power shapes language in our societies. So the conqueror's language entered high status areas while the native language remained among the common people. So the native language, which was English, was used by the common people, by the native people, by the serf, by the peasants, right? While the French language was spoken by the official, nobility, in courts, judges, etc. So there was division. And then we can see also that the French also, the Norman people also introduced feudal system, which was brought from the France. And it was introduced in England by the wife of Henry II. Now example number third, double, trouble, synonym, and we can see gallows. Now thanks to this blend, English ended up with synonyms that sound different but mean nearly the same. Only sounds were different but nearly mean the same. Often one from French and one from Old English. So if the division was there, so that was because of what? Of the synonym. For example, ask, that is English word, and versus enquire, that's a French word. So enquire is the synonym of ask, but enquire was used by the French, the nobility, by government official, while ask was used by the peasant, by the common people. So we're talking about double troubles, right? Synonyms. Similarly, they begin, that's English word, while commence, that has origin in French language. You can see commence and begin, synonym of each other. We have English word that is help, and we have French one that is assist. So these are the synonym of each other. Even now we use the French origin words when we want to sound more formal or fancy. See, that influence still exists in modern times. If you want to use the word commence in place of begin, so it is more formal because it had origin in French language, right? A French word. And if you are using the word assist rather than help, we see high status, formal tone, right? Formal, fancy. If you are using the word enquire, so formal one, right? High status, high social status, rather than to use the word ask. Because ask, begin, and help, these were the words used by the common people, by the serf, by the peasants. And these were the words enquire, commence, and assist, used by the nobility, because they had French origin. They brought themselves into England. And now there is no distinction we are using even today in English language. But remember, the influence still exists. Now, why it matters? This fusion is why Middle English, like what Chaucer wrote in, because Chaucer is also writing Canterbury Tales in English language, is much more readable than Old English, like Beowulf. If you pick up Beowulf, so 100% you will be unable to read it. And if you pick up Canterbury Tales, at least 30-40% you will be able to understand it. So that is understandable a little bit, Middle English, but Old English, that is beyond our understanding. So that's why that Middle English, it matters, because Chaucer, he wrote, and it's much more readable than Old English like Beowulf. After the Normans, English absorbed thousands of French words and ideas, changing forever but also growing more expressive and versatile. So we are talking about, okay, that this French influence, the vocabulary which was taken from French language, enrich English language. So thousands of words were taken from French language, or they had French origin. It enriched English language, and it made the English language more expressive and versatile that we are using today. So thank you so much. We will discuss other part of the development of English in the medieval period in next lecture. Please do provide your valuable comment about today's lecture. Thank you so much.